Welcome back to my Mood and Food episode. Today is all about the impact of stress on the gut. So, we said last time if you had enjoyed that podcast, which was all about the stress response, tune in this time. Now, if you're listening to this and you haven't heard the previous one, do
Where have
check
you
that
been?
out as well. Where have you been? Why are you not listening to every single one? So let us know in the comments if you do listen to everyone or if you just happen to find this one. Please do check out the previous podcast because it does lead really nicely into this one. Today we are talking about how that stress response impacts your gut. So Margaret is our resident gut health expert. So over to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Isel. I think I'm going to start just by kind of bringing people back into the difference between rest and digest and fight and flight. Obviously, the same pretty obvious what they are, and obviously the name does, but when you're in the fight and flight response, that really can mean that obviously a lot of things shut down within the body because literally you are getting ready to flight,
Did so
flight
well
or
with this on the
freeze.
last one, yeah. You're getting ready to leg it or
Yeah, you're getting ready to start
stick
off.
up for yourself. Yeah.
And that's exactly what the body's doing. It's sending oxygen around to the brain, the limbs. Your pupils are dilated, literally, so you're on full red alert. So at that point, one, you're probably not, you're definitely not relaxed, you're not wanting to have sex, and normally you're not wanting to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But quite a few people do eat when they're in the response, and that can cause a heck of a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, because when you are in that stress response, digestive system shuts, saliva stops in your mouth as well. So even if you are having something to eat, you've got that kind of, as my mum would call it, claggy feeling
Yeah.
in the mouth.
Uh, Lovely word.
Claggy.
Underused.
So yes, as we talked about in the last podcast, the stress response is there for a reason. It is there short, sharp kind of bouts of stress that can be managed. But when that stress is constant, chronic stress, and it can be from chemical stress, physical stress, or the one that's the most these days, emotional
Mm.
stress. Whatever it is, it's the body's going to still react the same way and do exactly the same things, which means that things that we might continue to do through the day will have a huge effect on your gut health and your health as a whole, both mental and physical.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it a step forward where literally, let's just say, for instance, you have had something to eat when you're stressed. You're going to find it difficult to swallow, literally because you've got very little saliva in your mouth.
Mm.
So that food going down is probably a little bit larger than normal.
And probably what would fit with that, sorry, Margaret, is I'm just imagining the scenario of like someone in the middle of a busy day grabbing a sandwich at lunch, kind of at the side of the desk, so they've not took that time to go out because they're too busy and they're just wanting to get it down. And they probably wolfing it down, like just getting it down would add into that as well. So you've got not a lot of slime, but you're also just like just I just need to get it down because I need some food and I'm busy. So
Yeah.
you're not chewing properly and you're taking bigger bites and you can feel it, can't you, when you eat too
It's
fast
like,
and it's like you can feel it going right down. It's like and then you get that pain in the chest because the
yeah,
food's all here and you're going like that to tap it down. You're like, ugh.
yeah,
Just to
exactly. And
paint the picture.
you're taking in a load more air as well,
Mm,
which won't help. So once it does get to the stomach, the unfortunate thing is that when you are in rest, digest, and repair, your digestive system's working, the grinding mechanisms are going round. When you're in fight and flight, that doesn't happen. The food literally just sits there, and it can sit there and sit there until it does turn to fat, which is another problem within the system. Where on earth do I redeposit this fat to? So yeah, it's painting a big picture. But if we're constantly in that level of stress, those nutrients we're never going to get to it needs to. That feeling of the crampiness within our our GI tract is literally the intestines twisting round. Nutrients are getting where you feel that constant tiredness because your body's not getting what it needs, which leads on probably to more food being eaten because
Mm.
it's respond to getting any kind of nutrients that animal.
Oh, sorry, your volume just dipped.
Dear.
Yeah, I don't know if there's something with the mic today. What was that last bit you just said, just in case people missed that last
Yeah, no
bit?
problem. Which means basically within about an hour or so, the body is just
Hungry again.
doing what it's just given those signals of hunger
Hmm.
because it hasn't got the nutrients that it needs.
Yes, and then it becomes that
That
loop.
never-ending cycle, absolutely.
Mm.
So that's what happens in regards to the digestive system when there is a problem, which does include the gut. But when it comes specifically to gut health, if your body is in that constant stress state, then cortisol and adrenaline are going to be the main hormones running through, which then causes issues with the rest of the hormones. Estrogen being one in particular, because that really reacts to the cortisol that's in the body. And estrogen is one of the main hormones that powers the brain. So if that is particularly low, hey, that's when you get the brain fog.
Mm.
So that's definitely, one sign in regards to cortisol running through the body. But if that cortisol keeps on going through, it does get into the gut because that's where quite a lot of our hormones are produced or managed. And if cortisol is constant within the gut area, that is what can cause leaky gut.
The leaky gut.
Yeah. And you got coffee in the last one, so here you go.
Yay.
That is when the food particles come through, but also your poop particles come through as well and
Yeah.
cause the inflammation in the body,
Mm.
which, if anyone's listened to past podcasts, inflammation literally is anything from anxiety, depression to skin issues, digestive issues, IBS, all the way up to certain cancers as well. So it's quite prominent that stress is quite an issue
It's a big
when it
thing
comes to
to
gut health.
autoimmune disorders, stress. Yeah, and it's the body kind of then with the autoimmune
Yeah,
trying to be overworking and
yeah,
protecting itself and it
overcompensating, protecting
attacks
it, and
itself. Yeah.
yeah, and it attacks the very cells that unfortunately would be of benefit to the body. Those cells have now gone because of that autoimmune
Hmm.
response.
Hmm.
So obviously, a lot of people think first and foremost when they think of the gut health that they should be concentrating on food, and I'm not disregarding food in the slightest. But unless you start dealing with this stress
Hmm.
first, and it's the very first thing that I start when I do have clients, whether it's a one-to-one or when I do give workshops, unless that stress is, managed, you're you're coping with stress in the best possible ways, and you've got that personal toolbox, then doesn't matter what food you're going to be eating,
Yeah.
you're going to see the benefit of it.
Yeah. And we did talk on the last podcast because we did talk about the stress response itself, about different ways. I was given some tools for people and how I manage my stress response and in a real example. So, people could go back to that, definitely. But have you got any other, what do you use? Do you use breathing? I think you said on the last one.
Definitely,
Anything else?
definitely use breathing. Um, Also, I bring clients into the likes of earthing and
Hmm.
grounding and the
Hmm.
difference between the two. Because these days we're using a lot of electronics,
Hmm.
which can bring on the likes of stress. And obviously, everything that we're taking in from the electronics itself does cause stress in the body. So it's finding ways to earth as well and just start getting rid of everything that you're taking in from the world, as it were. Get it back out.
Yeah. There's so many tools, we didn't even talk about obviously the essential oils that we
Yeah,
both use, the doTERRA oils. They're wonderful for stress response. Something like lavender, and because the amygdala, which is the little part of the brain, I picture it. I'm doing this with my hand like a little gremlin.
like a little claw.
I picture it would like a little green blob thing that's like looking around like a telescope for danger. But the essential oils, the smells are
Yeah,
in the limbic system of the brain. So if we can find something that we like the smell of that calms us down, that's powerful because it's getting right to that part of the brain that the stress response is activated from. So that kind of can be really useful as well. A candle or an essential oil that you like the smell of that with the oils as well, you can have that with you, so you could have a little roller ball that is already diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So I had my lavender with me, when I did the journey at the weekend that I was talking about last time. Um, and obviously that kind of thing, you can just roll on your temples, be
yeah,
prepared, ready for your, stress response, or you could just do that just before you eat. You
yeah.
could use uh,
So,
chanting or singing,
yeah,
using sound is, I think I was talking last time about the vagal nerve, because that runs from the brain all the way through the body, like at the side of the spine. It runs through past the vocal cords. So
yeah,
something that vibrates the vocal cords is
yeah,
soothing for the vagal nerve. So
yeah.
even
Just
something as just humming, like breathing in, and then as you breathe out, just feeling that vibration in the throat. So the whole of the exhale is just a nice humming bee breath, something that anyone can do. Obviously, you might not do it if you're sat at your desk at work. People be like, they do it.
put it in there, do it in there, do
You
it.
might do like a blowing breath instead.
Yeah.
Just blow the breath out. But yeah, just put loads of different things that you can do. But do something. For goodness sake.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as we said in the last podcast, it's starting to notice what the signs are when it comes to, you know, if you are feeling that chronic stress response, are you reaching for certain things to relieve that
Or
stress that,
helpful things.
yeah, absolutely. Are you getting to the end of the day and having to reach for, I don't know, chocolate, glass of wine, whatever your crutch is that becoming an everyday kind of thing? Just start looking into it. And are you actually having digestive issues? I mean,
Mm,
do you have issues with the likes of IBS? Are you finding that your skin may not be as clear as it has been? I'll be honest with you, the skin is probably one of the first signs when it comes to your actual gut health. If that is starting to change, start questioning why.
mm. And if you'd like to get the topic of poop in,
Hey,
you can do perfect opportunity right here. Check your poop, guys.
Absolutely.
How
It,
often are you pooping and what does
how
it
often
look
are you pooping
like?
and what does it look like? If
Because
it's something,
I'm not an everyday pooper. Like, let's just get it out there. But sometimes if you notice a change for you, I think,
yes,
because I've always kind of been like that. Now I could probably do things, and I do notice if I eat um certain things like seeds, linseed, milled linseed, and things like that on my Greek yogurt. I've talked
mhm,
about my Greek yogurt fetish for a while. In the morning, if I start adding that back in, and I haven't been adding that, that works for me. That really
yeah,
helps. So, but it's okay. It's kind of normal for me, and I don't feel particularly bloated
yeah,
or uncomfortable. But a little while ago, it was like, this isn't right. It's gone a bit longer. So then I needed to up my game in terms of diet and things like that, just to help move things through. So just recognizing for you, I guess. What,
definitely.
again, everyone's different.
The kind of stress response is normally, unfortunately, diarrhea.
Mm,
That is normally stress because literally the body want to get rid of waste if it's in a stress response. It wants to get rid of whatever's in the bowel region, shall we say.
mm.
So
And
that is a
you can
stress
feel
response.
that, can't you? If it's immediate,
Yeah.
severe kind of fear or panic, it's that everything just turns to jelly and water. It's like, blah, blah, blah. So, like, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
lovely.
But it
Yeah,
could be that, if it's that we talked about last time, that up and down stress response rather than that short, sharp, big
yeah.
stress. If it's kind of just chronic, prolonged stress, that could result in the body going and holding
Yes.
on,
Holding it in. Yeah.
just
Hold.
holding it and not feeling like, it can let go. And that can then be linked to, again, breathing, learning how to do a nice exhale and relax and everything so that you can learn how to relax those belly muscles and those deeper muscles inside.
And plenty of water. I don't think enough
Yeah.
people understand. Yes, for hydration, but also for the stress response as well. So important.
Yeah, just to keep everything nice and flushed.
Yes, so it's
That's going to help your
nice
skin as
way to
well,
put it.
right? So if people are,
Absolutely.
people are watching this thinking, oh yeah, I've noticed a problem with my skin recently. Up your water, do some breathing, relax your belly, use that exhale, try to take 5 minutes before you eat. It's all good stuff. And
Yeah,
the teachers that I'm working with at the minute, the Indian teachers, one of them says, try it. It can't do any harm. And it's lovely.
exactly.
It's like this stuff we're talking about. It's not like try this medication, which can
No,
then potentially have gazillion side effects. I'm not saying don't if you've gone to the doctors and they've given you stuff, obviously. Um, follow what you need to follow, but the likes of that Amozoprol and things like that,
yeah, it's
they give them out with every other medication because it has a side effect on the tummy and things, and then that needs to be taken to counteract that. And
yeah,
there can be harmful side effects. So if you've not started down that route yet, and you kind of at this stage where you're just like, oh, I might have a bit of a IBS flare up here and there, try some of this stuff because before you go down that route, try it. It's this no side effects to any of this that we're talking about.
not at all. And just a quick um thing before we finish, what I will say, acid reflux as well.
Mm,
If if you are a person that does suffer from a lot of acid reflux or have the likes of Gaviscon, things like that, or any
yeah.
quite frequently, start looking at this.
Yeah, and there will be
That is,
people listening to this, won't there, that are going, oh God, that's me, like have to have my Gaviston and literally squig it from the bottle because there's
yeah,
just so much heartburn going on.
yeah,
And if you just think what we were talking about before with that, and you see it on the advert for
you do.
cream,
So,
like that, it's that heat and that holding of the chest, maybe go back a few stages to how are you chewing your food? Are you walking away from your desk? Are you eating in a relaxed way? You're chewing enough? Is there enough saliva? Have you got water? Are you drinking your water? So there's loads of things for people to go at there. And hopefully we'll be less reliant on the Gaviscon.
please, I hope so.
Oh, brilliant. Anything else before we wrap
Oh,
it up?
yeah, as you know, I could be chatting for hours on this subject, and I probably will at some point. But I think I'll leave it there for
Yeah,
now.
we can always come back to it as with anything. These are hopefully just 15-20 minute little tasters for people to just understand what it is that Margaret and I do, how we can help you further if you find you enjoy listening and you recognize yourself in some of the things that we talk about and you do want some additional help, do reach out to Margaret or myself. And if it's, if you reach out to me and it's something that I think Margaret can help with, I will put you in touch with her and vice versa. So just reach out to any of us. That's absolutely fine. Comment whether you like this episode, whether you got some real aha moments and you're going to like start doing some of these things. That would make us very happy. And try and hit the like and the subscribe button. That would make us even happier.
What, please?
It really would. You don't, people think, oh, well, I've listened to it, but we don't know that without
Yeah.
a comment. We don't know that if you don't like the episode. So for us, we could be just putting these out there and nobody's listening. So it just really helps. And it boosts the channel as well. It helps get the episode to more people. The more subscribers that it's got, the more kind of the socials will kind of put it out there to other people to listen to. So that would be amazing. Thank you, Margaret. That concludes the month on stress and impacts of stress in the gut and things like
Yeah,
that.
flipping heck. It's been
Join
a
us.
stressful
It has, yeah. Hopefully
one.
not. Join
No,
us in the next one when we are going to be heading towards Christmas, I think, if we've got our
I
timings right
know.
when they go out.
Yeah,
So we might be giving you some tips on how to manage your eating and your gut health and your stress response around that time.
yeah.
So tune in next episode and we'll see you soon.
I know.
Bye.